Happy Friday, my friends. Oh my goodness. We have been printing coin over here. The money line parlays have been going absolutely crazy. If you tapped in yesterday to the show and the after live stream, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to break it all down today. And then we got a full game, or day, I should say, of games. We're going to go into all of the games. We're going to break it down. Some money line parlays on the way for you guys. Let's get into it. This is the free three.
I love it, Noble. Noble, I also love your YouTube videos. I watched them while I was gone. That was fire.
But getting paid because yesterday we had a full sweep. Mike going under, that was just icing on the cake. Why are we going to go in such a weak AFC South? Unless we have the NBA Blowout Association.
Bang! Knicks take a 1-point lead with 13.
When you hear the sirens, you know what that means.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
What is up, my friends? It is your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video. I'm bringing down my favorite picks and plays of the days. We just try to get to the bag together and make that money. Hopefully you guys have been making money here over the last few days on the channel with us, because we've been taking a few different strategies. It's primarily around money line parlays. We've been doing kind of ladder legs, bankroll builders, whatever you want to call it. And then we've been trickling a few first halves. We've been trickling in some totals, some different looks here and there. So this way we can change it up. But right now it's so many games on the board, you have to really be calculated on how you're going to target it. And in my years of betting college basketball, in my years of betting just a lot of sports in general, what I found, one thing that works for me in days where we got games literally from noon until midnight, is to sometimes break it down by time slots or to do parlays, because now you get the action on several games that you want without necessarily taking it with a bunch of singles. So you're basically spreading out your risk, because instead of taking 3 single bets at minus 110 on each bet, you may just do one parlay for 100 to win maybe 300 or 200, whatever it is. But now you have action on all 3 games. Now, obviously, there are a lot of times where we speak out against taking parlays, and I do agree with that strategy, because in the long run, parlays are the fool's bets. But also right now, where lines are very sharp and teams are getting upset or teams are not covering some of these major spreads, money line parlays can be the saving grace. That's the difference between Creatine winning in double overtime, which was a sweat in regardless of itself, but also you knew your chance of winning 10.5 was cooked, right? So it's just kind of like that middle paradigm in the middle, and that's what you get at this time of season with college basketball. So we're going to be breaking down all these different strategies over the next week or so, with conference tournaments wrapping up and then also leading into the NCAA tournament. But these strategies I'm talking about actually help you as well leading into baseball season as well, because to start off the baseball season, you're typically going to get very similar odds. Similar teams like the Yankees, like the Dodgers, minus 200, minus 175, the Twins here, right? The Red Sox there. And that's how you're able to start doing bankroll builders over there. But we'll get into baseball in here in a little bit. But overall, guys, it's been going good for us here on the channel. Yesterday, we did have a great day. You can see this chart. It's trending upwards over the last 30 days. That's what we like to see. Yesterday was officially a 7-3 day here on the channel. So we finished up over about close to $500. You love to see that. I'm only doing $100 units here on the channel. So these are not double units or anything like that. $100 units, you would be up close to $500 yesterday. You love to see that. We officially went 2-1 on the picks that we took here on the free 3. Officially, we lost on Miami over Ohio, minus 1.5 in the first half, because they were actually tied, so that was disappointing. And then we hit our parlay of the day, Kentucky, man. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's what I was just talking about. Kentucky bettors thought they were going to cash the minus 6.5 and be safe. And then they were up by 10 with a minute left to go, and then before you know it, they were losing the game. I'm just grateful that we got by, but we hit it. Same thing with Creighton in double overtime. Same thing with Louisville. I'm not even trying to touch some of these spreads, in all honesty. I mean, you could go plus the points, but I mean, that's up to you. There are going to be some plus the points situational spots that I'm going to like from time to time, but sometimes these money line parlays are cashing. So we went 1 win, 1 loss here, and then this was another loss that we added throughout the day. And then our other win was right here, Marquette minus 1.5. Good thing I bought that line down from 2.5. Why? Because I wanted that 1 bucket for this exact reason, and we cashed in on that. So that was how our day went yesterday. You can see here we added a few other parlays like this 3-team steam here. We added a 4-way parlay early and then a hardwood haymaker. And I want to show you guys the hardwood haymaker that we cooked up yesterday. And the reason why I want to show you guys this is what we did on stream. You all can do this next week on Thursday and Friday of the tournament. Take some of the earlier teams that are maybe minus 160, minus 180, minus 200, right? I took Iowa State early. They were at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. They lost. Everything else in the parlay hit, though. These games started at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So what did I do? After this one lost, I literally just took the parlay again, replaced this leg with somebody else in my personal book, and guess what? I cashed in for a plus 700 parlay. It wasn't plus 1,000, but it was plus 700. So still trust your read, and that's why sometimes you put the riskier games earlier on. So this way you don't win all of these legs, and now you got a risky leg coming at 8 o'clock. Yes, things happen. Creighton was a close game. Clemson was a close game. That's going to happen. But overall, it's different than when you're taking a minus 150 or a minus 200 at 7 o'clock and you already hit 8, 9 legs, rather than doing it at 12 o'clock when you still have a chance to just replace that in the parlay and cover it. So a little bit of strategy I just want to talk a little bit about today, guys, real quick. Let's dive into the picks today of what we're going with on today. We're going to go one total, 2 money line parlays. All right, college basketball, full slate of games. I'll give you guys my leans as well. If you're tapped into the live show, I greatly appreciate you guys watching live. If you're here live, thank you. Appreciate all the support for you. Here's a money line parlay I locked in early this morning at 5 o'clock this morning. I did VCU, I did Liberty, I did Memphis, I did Auburn. Those 3 teams on the money line. Let me zoom in here a little quick. That gets you to plus 102. I'll lock that in. You guys tuned in live. You get the 1 o'clock, the 11 o'clock parlay. I locked that in. I left out Michigan State just because Dana Altman, he's one of those tournament coaches. Oregon's won a lot of games in a row. I'm not saying they're going to beat Michigan State. That's just a live game for me, right? That's just my read on it. Everything else should be pretty safe to hit. And Liberty could be a toss-up, but Kennesaw State barely escaped last night. I like Liberty here. That's just the 4 teams real quick to get to plus 100. But for our first best bet of the day officially on the channel, we're going to lock in Maryland and Illinois over. And I think we can get it at 157.5. The line has actually dropped from what it opened up at. Give me 1 second. I don't know why they've got me going all these Marylands here. All right, here we go. Maryland and Illinois. We can see here we get at 157.5. We'll lock that in to win 1 unit. Now, if we look at this game yesterday, both of these, or Illinois' game, I should say, was just absolutely outstanding against Iowa. The shot making was incredible. We could look real quick. The final score was 106-94. So flew over the total of 165.5. But the reason why I really like this here is because of how Illinois has been playing recently. Over 158.5, over 162.5, over 157.5. And then this game against Iowa was a very high total to begin with, but that's okay. So gone over in 4 of the last 5 games despite the high totals. Now on the other side, Maryland, they've gone under in 4 of the last 5 games. They went over 154.5 against USC, but went under against Michigan State, under against Penn State, under against Michigan, under against Northwestern. So you might be asking yourself, Noble, if Maryland's been trending towards the under, one team's been trending to the over, why would you take Illinois to the over even though Maryland's the better team? They should be able to dictate their own tempo and pace. You're absolutely right. But let's go look at KenPom real quick. Maryland on the year, they have a very efficient offense, 33rd in adjusted efficiency, 57th in effective field goal percentage, 39th in turnover percentage. They don't turn over the ball. But this number right here, 54th in tempo, that's what I like to see. Despite the fact that they're 6th in defensive efficiency and they have a very, very strong defense, they can play fast and they have the strong offense that's going to keep up with a team like Illinois that's really trying to push you. 17th in adjusted tempo for Illinois, 14th in adjusted efficiency. They shoot a lot of 2-pointers. They're not the best at 3-pointers, but they don't turn over the ball. They crash the offensive glass, which leads to extra points and also leads to fouls. So that's the reason why I like this. 17th in tempo, 54th in tempo, both high efficient offenses. And then if you watched the game yesterday with Illinois and Iowa, Illinois is the better team, clearly the better team, but they're not even trying, like they were literally trying to make it a shootout with Iowa. They were saying we can outscore you. They give Iowa credit, give Sandpiper or Sandcastle, whatever his name is, give him credit. He was shooting, he was hooping, but they literally made it a shootout on purpose. I don't think that Illinois can win this game in between the trenches against Maryland. Maryland has a stronger defense. They should be able to run this. 80-79 final. KenPom has this at, I think this puts us right at 159, and these two teams played a little little bit earlier in the season. If we go here, Maryland did 91-7. That's a 161 total, so that went over. So for me, I like it today. I think points and shot making has been very high in all these conference tournaments, not just this one, but I think we can see it again today. Maryland, Illinois, over 115.5, or 157.5 for 115 down to win 1 unit. I do like Maryland on the money line as well. And one other thing I want to note real quickly here. Maryland went under in 4 straight games, but to the year, they're 18-13 to the over. So what does that tell you? If they've gone under in 4 straight games, they started off the year 18-9 to the over. Some regression was due, but they went 4 straight unders, so now we should get on the other side of it. So I like the over as well. And then you can see Illinois is 20-12 to the over this season, so they're an over team as well. So that's the first pick that we're locking in for the day. Now, our second best bet of the day is going to be our first money line parlay of the day. With a lot of money line opportunities. I just gave you guys one here live. Our next one that we're going to do is the can't miss money line parlay. Now, I know yesterday I said the one with Kentucky was a can't miss. That was a sweat. Creighton was a sweat, but we got it done. So for today, let's look at this one. We're going to go Akron on the money line, Houston on the money line, Florida on the money line. All of these are pretty significant favorites. Akron right here, minus 385. Houston at 7 o'clock at minus 295. And then if we throw in Florida, which I think is at 7 o'clock against Mizzou, at minus 420, that gets you to plus 109. You can't beat that for 3 teams at minus 300 odds that should all win their games. Now let's look at Florida since we're down here real quick. Mizzou has been good. It's going to be a shootout. If you want to take over, be my guest. But I think that game against Mississippi State was a little bit more gritty than, maybe they wanted it to be. And I think Florida, truthfully, a lot of people are saying they're a Final Four team. I agree. I think they're a national championship contender. I think it all depends on where they fall on the bracket, but they have that type of offense. My only problem is if Florida makes this a shootout and this one ends 90-88 like we saw yesterday with Oklahoma and Kentucky, or 95-92 like something like A&M in Texas, then they can get upset. That's the only thing. But if Florida has the better defense, they should be able to get it done. If you want to look at the numbers on KenPom, we can. The next bet that we can look at is Houston against BYU. I can see why the line's moving in favor of BYU, but Houston is the best team in the Big 12. I mean, like I said, we locked in the Final Four future a few days ago, and I agree with it. They have the 3rd longest win streak in the country at 11. They're number 3 in defense. They play slow. They're number 11th in offense. They have the offense this year. That's the thing. Guzan, he is a difference maker, man. And Colorado, give them credit. They played hard yesterday. They tried to go on a run, but Houston's just too much defensively. They play scrappy. The refs even gave 2 of the best Houston perimeter defenders yesterday 4 fouls within a 2-minute span. It was like boom, 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 boom. But guess what? They found a way to be able to win it out. BYU, great win yesterday. There's very strong offense. But I think what we saw is they can win in shootout games against Iowa State. They play that NBA type of style offense. But against a team like Houston, they're not going to run up and down the court with you. They're not going to you're going to get your shots off of screens, but they're going to fight through screens. They're going to hedge hard. They're going to make you have to work through your triple and your 4th option to score, and that works for a fast start. But when you get into the 10 minutes left to go in the game or second half, that really starts wearing on you defensively. KenPom has this as a 7-point win for Houston. I like that. And then the final game we'll talk about real quick is Akron. Akron's the number 1 seed inside the conference tournament there in the MAC. You can see right here they finished the regular season 17-1. Miami of Ohio was 14-4. That was the next closest team. All right, so right now they're going to be taking on a Toledo team that I'm pretty sure won in overtime against Ohio yesterday. Yup, they escaped in overtime. Akron's the better team. You see all the green here. 17-1, number 1 seed. It's their conference to lose. They play fast. Their goals to outscore you. Any given time, you could play a team that can keep up because it's just their night, like DePaul yesterday. But for me, these 3 teams, don't overthink it. They get it done. All right? So our second money line parlay of the day. What's up, Ron? Good to see you, bro. Our second money line parlay of the day, our third and final one, is really one leg with 2 additional legs to bring down the value, or just to get us better value, I should say. If you want to take it as a single bet, be my guest, all right? Odd values, our teams are from left to right, all right? So basically, Utah Valley, Norfolk State, North Texas. Utah Valley is the toss-up leg, okay? Norfolk State and North Texas are the legs that are like basically should be guaranteed, okay? So let's look at this real quick. So if we go to Utah Valley, which should be about a 9 o'clock game. I wasn't trying to do time slots today, guys, but we did time slots. You can see they're minus 156 on the money line. The spread, I believe, is 2.5, or now it's up to 3.5. You can buy it down to 1.5 like we did yesterday with Marquette, or like what we did with Ole Miss. I'm not opposed to it. But Utah Valley here, I'm just going to add the other 2 legs of Norfolk State and North Texas. Let's just look at those real quickly. So this way you guys can see what we're going to get from an odds value. Then we'll talk about Utah Valley. North Texas, it's minus 1,000. If you don't like taking that, I get it. If you want something else early in the day like Tennessee, you could do that. Texas right now is just playing inspired ball. And you can see Norfolk State minus 11.5 against Morgan State, 22-10, 14-7. Norfolk State is the number 1 team inside their conference, so it's their conference tournament to lose. Those 3 teams you parlay get you near minus 100. At this morning when I crafted it, it got you over to plus 100. If you want to throw in another team in there just to get you to plus 100, you could do UC San Diego. That game's also at 9 p.m. That's really the only other game that I would throw in this because, again, I want this to be a for sure hit. UC Irvine as well. You could do Grand Canyon as well. I wouldn't do Alabama because that can go either way, and you're basically playing the either way game right here with Utah Valley. So the reason why we like this here, Utah Valley, is this is their conference to win this season. Okay, so they're in the WAC, the West Coast Conference. We're going to look at the standings real quickly. But Grand Canyon is the team that everybody dubbed as the team to beat in that conference this season. Why? Because they were the team that last season, I think they went to the Sweet 16. They were hooping. They had that great game against Alabama. All the great things. They're in the WAC, the Western Athletic Conference, right? But if we look at the standings here, we can see Grand Canyon finished the regular season 13-3. Utah Valley finished the regular season 15-1. They're both 24-7. Let's be honest. This is a one-bid league. If Utah Valley loses, they have to lose in the finals to maybe get consideration. But they're not going to get consideration because they're in the Western Athletic Conference. So let's just be honest. You got to win and you're in. Today, they're taking on Seattle. The reason why I like this here is, one, they've already played one game 2 days ago against Utah Tech. It's played on a neutral floor, but this conference is a little bit different where they don't play the games back to back, day to day. You get a day in between. Advantage Utah Valley. Now they're playing Seattle here, which just beat Abilene Christian, which was a decent team, but they played yesterday. Utah Valley didn't play yesterday, so now they got to play back-to-back games, okay? Now, if we look at the head-to-head, you could see Utah Valley beat Seattle. I don't know why I blanked out. They beat Seattle back on February the 22nd by 6 points at home. So Seattle was on the road. And I'm pretty sure they played one more time right up here in January. They also lost both times against this team, okay? So you're giving us a very short spread at 2.5, 3.5. What does Seattle do well? Well, they do defense well. 93rd in defensive efficiency. They turn over you a decent amount on the defensive side. They don't give up a whole bunch of threes, but they're very weak on the interior. And this is the number that we're looking at here. Even though they're strong defensively, they really can't score that well. You can see 332nd in effective field goal percentage on the offensive side, 262nd in guarding the 2-point percentage. Now let's go back and look at Utah Valley. Utah Valley, what is the best thing that they do? They're not the strongest offensively. They're very strong defensively. But of what they do well offensively is what? The 2-point shot. And the reason why that's so important is because Utah Valley has a significant size advantage over not just them, over a lot of teams. And that's why if they make it to the NCAA tournament, they are one of the teams that you may want to look at to put in your bracket upsetting somebody. Let's look at their size real quickly. Carter Welling, height is right here in this first row. Carter Welling is 6'10". Dominique Nelson, 6'5". Tanner Toulson, 6'5". Osiris Grady, 6'9". Kylan Green, 6 feet. But Ethan Potter, 6'8". Jackson Holcomb, 6'7". Hayden Welling, 6'9". Every player who plays some type of significant minutes is 6'5" and higher. And that's tough in a major conference, let alone in a conference like the WAC. And if we go look at Seattle real quickly, their biggest guys, 6'8", 6'3", 6'3", 6'8", 6'2", 6'0", 6'3". They're way undersized. So they already suck at guarding the interior, and now you're giving me a team that's significantly bigger than them. And we've been seeing how refs have been swaying some of these conference tournament games with the excessive foul calls. They have one of the longest win streaks in the country. They're a good team. It's a one-bid league. You got to win. It's Utah Valley today. If you want to go 2.5, 3.5, be my guest. I'm taking them on the money line, and then I'm going to parlay them with some of the other big legs like UC Irvine. But I told you Norfolk State and North Texas. That's really it. North Texas, if I talk about them real quick, they play Tulsa. They should beat them just because North Texas defense is too good. They have one of the best man-to-man defenses in all of the country. And then Norfolk State, like I said, if we just pull them up on KenPom real fast just so you guys can see that they're number one inside of their conference. They're in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, 11-3, tied with South Carolina State. They're playing Morgan State right here, who's 7-7. And again, this is a one big lead. One bid league, so you got to win. They played another game 2 days ago, same type of situation, so I like them as well. If you don't like those teams, swap them out with somebody else, all right? So those are the 3 teams that we're going with, or the 3 bets that we're going with today, guys, here on the episode of the Free 3. Appreciate y'all for tapping in. 2 moneyline parlays real fast. We're going to go with Utah Valley, North Texas, and Norfolk to lock it in first. Our second one is going to be Akron, Houston, and Florida on our second moneyline parlay. If you tapped into live, I appreciate you guys. I gave you an early moneyline parlay with VCU, Liberty, Memphis, and Auburn. And then finally, we got the over in Maryland and Illinois, over 157.5. If you want to throw all of these bad boys inside of a moneyline parlay, be my guest, and then feel free to mix and match off of these teams depending on how certain things are falling throughout the day. Give yourself enough bankroll management to where it's like, hey, I started off slow, but I ended off the night strong. Because last night, Clemson hit, Purdue hit, Kentucky hit. Bro, I'm telling you, so many favorites hit. Utah State hit. Colorado State hit. These are minus 250s. These are minus 300s. So go out there and chase the dog. Go out there and chase the points. But there's a lot of money that's literally being left right here on the table. I showed you guys this hardwood haymaker right here just by combining Cal Baptist and Clemson, by combining Illinois, Kent State, and Wisconsin. Bro, don't overthink it, my friends, all right? A lot of money out here. Let's get to it today. I appreciate y'all for tapping into the Free 3 this morning. For any additional plays that I do throughout the day, it's going to be right here at Noble Living on Action Network. I'm going to add a few sides, and I'm going to tail a few people as well. I tailed Char Clark yesterday morning, Georgia Tech first half, plus 14.5. That smacked. So we're just here trying to make money, all right, guys? Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Let's continue to build those bankrolls. Let's get to that cheddar, and it's your boy Noble Living, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. All right, guys? Let's have a day. Later, gang.